Wakefield. And
Yeah,
we have
finally.
Abbie and Luke.
Fantastic.
Okay, und sie sind auch noch das Win- und In-Match. Und wir sehen Amber Steel gegen Sapphire Steel. Das ist ja hochgradig interessant. Wait, wie viel Delay habe ich denn bitte? Ich gucke hier gerade meinen eigenen Stream. Ich bin unendlich behind, anscheinend. Aber wir haben uns jetzt hier zu Genüge ausgeblendet, ja.
The Amber Emerald deck that you and Ed were chatting about, but I haven't. This is my first.
Jetzt gucken wir doch wieder. Endlich. This match.
Yeah, with Amber Steel at the moment, there really could be anything. As we sort of touched on a little bit earlier, it's a deck that has had to reinvent itself since rotation.
It really could be anything.
Most people favoring quite.
Boah, ich habe hier einfach zu viele Maus und PC.
This doesn't look like Amber Steel at all. It looks like Amber Steel.
Oh, okay. Never mind. No Amber. Right, so that has to be changed. It is Abbie's playing an Amethyst Steel deck, so which we have.
Gleich viel unspektakulärer.
That was me getting a bit excited there. And there we go, now it's been changed, so that's correct. Let's have a look and see at Luke's hand. Nope, he's just put it down. That always happens. That keeps happening to me and Ed today. Is like, we're like, let's go and look at that hand.
They
and
must
then
know.
Immediately they put it down.
I think they know.
Yeah, but yes, that's okay. But we have seen some Amber representation today already, so that's good. And maybe we'll see some Amber in round 7. Who knows?
Yeah, would like to. I was hoping we were going to see some Tianas then.
Yeah, me too. But you are right. It is interesting with Amber Steel with the songs was a really popular deck for a long time. But you're right. It has had to shift and change quite a lot in this current meta, which is really interesting because I feel like it was much the same for such a long time, and then suddenly it's having to take all of these leaps and bounds to be like, what do we do now?
Yeah, well, you're completely right. It largely unchanged from set 2, and then suddenly, it's all gone.
Oh no, gotta make some changes. But there we have Abbie inking the Giant Cobra and playing a Captain Hook Forceful Duelist, a classic card. I love that card. One of my absolute favorites. Let's see if we can see Luke's hand now.
Here we go.
Got 2 Cinderellas there.
Yep, a sail.
Yep, Lexington I saw in there as well.
Yeah, so lots of the things that Luke really wants to see. 1 drop into a sail or T-Bow turn 2, into a Cinderella turn 3, and then we start playing big characters. He's already got one of them in his hand.
Absolutely, and Abbie has just inked a Strength of a Raging Fire to play that 3/3 Black Heron. Interesting card there. There's a 2-drop, but with that quite big stat line, even though it is a vanilla card, it is still quite powerful.
We see a Jasmine enter Luke's Inkross. It tells us a few more clues about his deck.
Ja, Ally-Bild. Ally-tastic. Geile Angelegenheit.
Sapphire Steel, utilizing that 4-cost Jasmine and typically shifting it. Usually, we don't know, we haven't seen a target yet, to keep drawing allies. There's a high density of allies in these decks. Naturally, you don't need to put too many more in for this card to become very good.
Definitely not. And Abbie plays
Ja, eigentlich so die man von Natur aus schon spielen würde. Die reichen eigentlich aus. Sie haben für gewöhnlich so, weiß ich nicht, 22.
Good consistent start to the game for Abbie. You want to hit your 1, 2, 3, then ideally look to start using your removal songs or whatever targets your opponent presents. But with Luke sort of matching and putting things into, sort of putting characters into play in addition to ramping, makes it quite tough for Amethyst Steel to find good space to quest comfortably.
Definitely, but we did a little, was that a little trade there?
Was.
Or no, yeah, I wasn't sure, I missed it. I was very distracted by the gorgeous Cinderella card on the screen there.
It really is.
It's so pretty. But yes, a little trade there. The Captain Hook for the Black Heron, which is understandable.
Yeah, I think you take that every time as the boost if it's presented to you.
Definitely, and also
Na klar.
Luke potentially is going to
Captain Hook weghauen ist immer super. Im Gegensatz zu von Captain Hook weggehauen zu werden. Deswegen interessant, dass Luke sich getraut hat, sich da das Lore zu machen.
I think Luke would really like to have a Lexington in play right now because one of the things that Sapphire Steel has historically struggled with is genies.
Achso, nee, der Hook hat doch Black Heron weggehauen, na klar. Das macht viel mehr Sinn. Ja, das ist worse, als wenn Heron den Hook einfach überfahren hätte.
For a lot of these Sapphire Steel decks.
Definitely.
Tinkerbell going to help things a lot, but it's not going to be able to challenge into a genie.
Unfortunately not, but we got some damage there, so we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Abbie plays a Cheshire Cat in this deck. because then they could obviously try and move that damage. But I didn't see a Cheshire Cat in their hands, so...
4 damage with the Thunderbolt onto the Tinkerbell. It's not going to remove it, but what it does do is say, you know what, if you challenge in, if you find a way of hitting my Genie, you're going to lose your Tinkerbell in that exchange.
Exactly. Just trying to get rid of it there, but another Tinkerbell from Luke, getting rid of a couple of cards there on Abbie's board.
The second one is generally a lot better than the first. When you've got 2 in the mix, things start to become very difficult. Abbie going to need to find some more evasives now, I think.
Yes, definitely.
That's a good one.
There it is. That's a very good evasive right there. And looking at the discard there, just to check what's in it, and playing a Palace Guard, which Palace Guard is, I think it's a really, really good card.
It is.
It's just because it's got that big willpower, even though it's only a 1 strength, because I've been testing quite a lot, I've been noticing that actually often it's really helpful to just, if you can't quite get that full damage through a challenge, the Palace Guard can often finish a character off while still remaining on your board because of that high willpower.
Absolutely.
And for a 1 ink cost, it's just, it feels crazy.
Oh, this is fantastic. So Luke here has played Ink Runner, which draws a card on play. We were just saying there aren't too many relevant items in the metagame, but this is one of them. For 1, to exert it and pay 1, you could give chosen character Alert. So we were saying he needs to find a way of dealing with evasives. That's going to do it. Gives Alert to Tinkerbell. It takes out that Genie.
Absolutely, and he played a Doc there. We love a Doc, and he did have to discard a Cinderella, but of course now he's got 2 more cards in hand, and let's see if we can see what they are. He's got a Hades and a Tipo. Wow, Hades there. We love to see it.
Yeah, so Abbie playing a Yzma, very much hoping to have it survive for 1 turn so that they're able to draw 3 cards, but Hades might have something to say about that.
Oof, yes, we will see. That Yzma, I really like that Yzma card though. Like the artwork, she's such a fun character as well. I just love her.
She's I saw a tier list of villains recently that put Yzma down quite low, and I thought this is.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too. Totally.
I disagree, but unfortunately, our Yzma has now gone because of that Hades. So. No more Yzma for us. Sad.
So yeah, Hades takes care of the Yzma, so no card draw for Abbie, and then the Alert characters with the Ink Runner clean up the rest of what's in play. A tough board for Abbie to restabilise on now.
Unfortunately so. But yes, that Ink Runner is...
Ja, da geht nichts. Also mit Amethyst Steel gegen Sapphire Steel ist man im Late Game natürlich einfach ausgegrindet. Man hat ein bisschen einfache Chancen, ihn zu überrennen im Early Game, als es damals mit Blobby der Fall war. Aber dafür kann man ihn umso schlechter im Late Game noch um die Ecke bringen.
Really does very neatly solve that problem for you in a repeatable way. It's almost better than having something like a Thunderbolt, for example, that's going to take out 1 Genie. You essentially just get to give something Alert repeatedly, so you maintain your safety against Genies.
You're so right. And like only having to pay 1 ink for it is a bit crazy, and I think but we've just seen that Luke did a Strength of Raging Fire to get rid of Abbie's Calhoun there, which never fun because we love a Calhoun, but unfortunately no longer.
Yeah, Luke very much looking to get this game wrapped up. No, not holding the strength back for a bigger threat, just happy to say, you know what, whatever you've got in play, I'll take it out. I'm going to quest. I'm going to try and end the game as soon as I can.
Definitely, and now we had that Elsa come out, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough in this. It's a very difficult position for Abbie to be in here.
Yeah, so
even more difficult now.
giving the Tipo Alert to finish off the Elsa. The Ink Runner's looking pretty good.
It really, really is. And we've got a Goliath there, clan leader, I believe is that one, and which is just crazy. And again, I haven't seen that much today yet, but he is a very, very powerful new card.
Yeah, one of the cards that people are more excited for from Whispers in the Well. Just where we see Doc as the perfect thing to play on an empty hand, draw 2 cards, this is going to do the same for you. It's a mirror effect as well, so your opponent will get it sometimes, but sometimes it'll make them discard down as Luke takes game 1 of the set.
Absolutely well played from Luke there. It has been interesting. I have been noticing a few sets ago, I feel like the format was so hot on items.
Yep.
You know, that Tamatoa item deck was king. And there was one tournament I played where I think most rounds, I think there were only 2 rounds or something out of like 7 that I wasn't against it.
Yeah, right.
And I was getting so frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, so having item removal was so key, but it's just changed completely.
Absolutely, you're completely right. It's a balance you have to maintain constantly. Is that, you know, items require very specific cards to answer them, and often they're not worth including in your deck until the item decks become extremely prevalent. It's why it's so easy to get away with putting an Emerald Chronicle into play and just having it almost essentially win you the game at the moment, because the opponents don't play any answers. So there are very good windows to sneak through some effective items like Ink Runner at the moment, and Luke obviously recognising that, capitalising on it as an answer to one of his deck's biggest problems.
Absolutely, and we have had a few new items like Ink Runner come in, and including the Junior Woodchuck Guidebook is another one that I've seen dotted around in some of the top decks. So yeah, it's the item situation is quite interesting at the moment.
Yeah, we're not too far off seeing an item resurgence.
Ich denke, da wird Abbie echt fett verlieren. Also ich würde mir vorstellen, dass das Matchup relativ gut ist für Sapphire-Stil. Und vor allem, wenn er Game 1 schon gewonnen hat, dann wird er im Zweifelsfall Game 3 nochmal anfangen und dann sollte es echt super funktionieren.
See what everyone goes for. So Abbie's sorted, so we'll see what Luke is thinking about.
I've just seen the 1-cost Jasmine, the shift target for that 4-cost we looked at in the last game. Luke having both of them in his opening hand, so potentially opting for a turn to shift Jasmine instead of a turn to ramp effect.
Be exciting to see.
I'm very interested to see who's also playing Pleakley, which is one of my favourite.
I love Pleakley.
Ja, ich finde Pleakley auch voll gut.
Cost Jasmine, turn 2 shift Jasmine, quest, get a card back, next turn quest again, Pleakley your Jasmine, shifted, both go into your Inkwell, you ramp to 6 and you drew 2 cards off your Jasmine. Big fan of that line.
Absolutely, it is crazy, and also he's just such a funny character.
He is.
He's such a funny character. But yes, it'll be really interesting. I always feel like a shift is always like, oh,
yep.
and there's the big one,
yep.
you know. So it's always fun when that happens, like shifting the Prince Philip or shifting a Clarabelle or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about this game is that when you know that your opponent is playing those shift lines in their deck, as soon as they have the small target for it, you really have to respect it and just assume it's coming and think about what you do. So
absolutely,
in a situation like this is where Abbie's really thinking, I wish my deck had Fire the Cannons in it, because I'd love to be able to take that Jasmine out.
Ja, diesen Jasmine jetzt wegzuballern wäre super nice, das stimmt allerdings. Nur leider geht es nicht, bleibt einem nur der Beater und der wird, glaube ich, nicht lange funktionieren. Wenn jetzt schon Jasmine Shift kommt, ey, dann kriegen wir aber was zu sehen.
That 1-drop Jasmine there.
There it
and
is.
There it is. There's the shift. Absolutely wonderful.
And quest for 1. Have a look at the top 4. I want to say top 4.
Top
3.
Cards.
Okay, it's not that good.
No,
still pretty good.
Still pretty good. And reveal an ally.
Luke finds no allies, unfortunately.
That is the risk, unfortunately, because it's not just pick a card.
Yeah.
It's pick an ally card specifically. That is the risk that you have, unfortunately. But
yeah, so you have
the risk, I think.
Yeah, and you balance your deck building a little bit with like, right, how many allies do I want to play, and at which point does it tip over to I'm just playing this because it's an ally, and at that point is it worth me just playing like Hades, for example?
Yeah.
That's not an ally, but you definitely want 4 of it in this deck.
Oh, definitely. And there's a white rose from Abbie, getting that extra lore going there. So it'll be interesting to see if we can see what Abbie has currently in the hand. There's a Doc there, a Strength, and an Elsa.
Now this is pretty good, but really seeing the strength of Jasmine's 5 willpower, it's tough to get your board big enough to get a Strength for 5 off that early, which means she'll often get multiple quests in before a player's able to deal with her effectively.
It is tricky, and we see there Luke's got quite a lot of hand advantage currently, and he's got that Ink Runner in there again, which maybe we'll see pop down very soon. Inking another of those shift Jasmines and playing the Tipo. get that extra ink in there.
Yep, so no Pleakley as we discussed. To be fair, I haven't seen any in the deck, but yeah, at this point with your Jasmine setup, you're going to want to start going ahead and making sure you're getting ahead on ink. So I'd say everything largely according to plan for Luke.
Definitely, but I think I have definitely seen builds of these decks with Pleakley in.
Yeah.
So that's one of the fun things I think about this as well is you can be playing the same ink colors, the same kind of deck, but there's always going to be little variations.
Totally.
And that's something that's always really fun. It's seeing, oh, I don't play that, or
yeah, and it's when they can, you really think you've got your opponent's deck all completely sorted in your head, and then suddenly out of nowhere it comes.
Where did that come from?
I really think that this format that we're seeing at the moment has so much room for that. Almost all of these top decks have some form of variation in builds, maybe more so than we've seen before. Even when you see the colours, you don't really know what's going to happen until you've played the game out. You've got to see a fair few turns before you can confidently say exactly what variation your opponent's playing.
Definitely, there's always that level of the unknown. There's the Ink Runner on board, and he held his Thunderbolt to get rid of that White Rose.
Ja, den 3-3er fett weggeballert. Aber na klar, nicht, dass man gleich noch verliert. Oder gleich noch die Jasmine abgetradet bekommt. Wäre ja schlimm. Jetzt allerdings hast du damit nicht... nicht den Effekt getriggert. Deswegen bin ich davon nicht so super überzeugt. Dock of Greed kommt jetzt nochmal ins Spiel. Aber sieht schon echt nicht so toll aus. Diese Ally-Version ist auch noch echt extra garstig. Weil die ein bisschen niedriger von der Kurve her ist und dagegen kann man mit Amethyst Steel echt wenig machen. Also wenn man da Game 1, wie gesagt, wenn man da Game 1 schon im Sack ist, Game 3 da on the draw noch zu holen, glaube ich nicht.
Inking a Goliath there to play the aerial. Wow.
Now this is a tough card for Steel decks to deal with. 8 willpower, and that's really the beginning and end of the story. There's a lot of other relevant text on the card, but right now the 8 willpower is the absolute most important part. When you're playing that damage space removal like Strength for a Raging Fire, it's tough to find a clean answer to this aerial.
It really is just such a big stat line there on that aerial, and I mean, Abbie has a very wide board, especially in comparison to Luke right now, and also is on 9 lore, where Luke has none so far. He has had that dock there, so that's good. Let's see what he's got. Jasmine and a Lexington.
Yeah, that's a really, really great point you make. Abbie seems to have noticed that what the Sapphire Steel deck typically does at this point in the game is begin deploying one big turn, at which point your game plan is try to go as wide as possible. See if you can flood the board with some of these cheaper characters, play 1 or 2 a turn. That was the expected line, and then Luke has played a dock and some cheaper characters.
Yeah. But I guess, you know, if that's what you've got in hand, and we saw that he got the Lexington and the Jasmine, so that makes sense. But still Abbie has a very big board and has that Hades there.
Hades coming down, Luke opting to let Abbie draw 2 cards with Hades deal. As is so often the choice.
Yes, I mean, neither is a good choice, really. That's one of the themes of today, I think, is Hades is, you know, he's not going to give you a good deal either way.
No, he was a very divisive card in the community to start with, because I think a lot of people maybe, you know, that have played other card games, they're used to these, anything that gives your opponent choice, you're generally a bit wary of. You don't want them to have the choice. You want to make the choices.
Absolutely.
But with this, both choices are phenomenal most of the time for you. This card really outperformed expectations.
Absolutely. So we've got that damage there now on the aerial. So 3 more damage and she would go, but can we get that damage on her? Who knows?
Slow progress. You've got to work your way towards removing it. And here comes Goliath.
Oof. Big body there.
Which can, it's worth noting, it can be a pretty good thing for the Amethyst Steel player. Sometimes getting to draw 2 more cards of your own at the end of every turn, sometimes you can make it work to your advantage. There is certainly a drawback to that Goliath effect.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those ones, again, where, you know, certain situations it's going to be a really good card to play and it's going to be really beneficial, and then other times just not so much, you know. So you kind of really have to like time it, I think, with cards like I think a lot of the gargoyle cards, you know, it's about playing them at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're completely right. It's just they are so powerful in a vacuum, but they with this Stone by Day, there are certainly situations where it's a very, very real drawback. It makes for some really, really nice play patterns in games actually, where there's a lot of back and forth between them. We've seen situations earlier where Elsas were coming down and exerting Demonas that then stayed exerted and essentially removes them for a turn. As Abbie works on playing as many things as possible to make sure she's drawing off the Goliath and not discarding to it.
Definitely, and she did that giant Cobra play there by playing it and discarding a card to gain 2 lore, trying to get just that little bit of extra lore advantage there, but she's already quite ahead in lore, with Luke only being on 1 so far, but he does have a very wide board.
Yeah, it's felt a little bit like Luke's been in control of the game for a while, but Abbie quietly making very good progress on the lore, and we're getting to the point where you have to start thinking about what happens if Abbie draws a White Rose and a Cobra. Some active questers here. Doesn't look like a lot of removal for Luke.
No, but yeah, creeping up there on that lore with Abbie, and let's see what she's got.
Hades will sing Thunderbolt to finally take care of that aerial.
Absolutely. Don't blame them.
Genie
there, get that extra draw.
This is really what Abbie wants to be doing, putting as many cards into play as possible, getting maximum use out of your turn, and making sure that when the end of your turn comes, you are drawing cards from the Goliath effect, not discarding to it.
Absolutely, definitely. Let's see if we can see what Luke
So.
got. Hades and
Katastrophe für die Leute.
Okay,
Gibt's ja gar nicht. Was ist denn hier? Luke Delaney gegen Abbie King. Achso, ja genau, wir warten darauf, dass Abbie das Spiel auch noch verliert, ne? Ich fürchte, darauf wird es hinauslaufen.
I'll take care of that while I can.
I'm gonna get rid of you, especially as, of course, it's evasive, but it is currently ready, so even Lexington can't get it, and there it is, exactly as you predicted. Understandable.
And the exerted Hades is a very good target for the Lexington there. That's undamaged.
Yep. It's a really, really tricky situation, this, unfortunately, for Abbie, now having that board be completely demolished. Even though she is on 12 lore, but as we can see, Luke has a big board and is creeping up there to catch up.
Yeah, very much feeling like Luke's turned the corner now, sort of taking care of that quite threatening board, and this is where the questing begins on Luke's side of things.
Absolutely. Deciding there, and we're getting rid of the Cinderella. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure if I don't think Abbie's got 1 card in hand. I'm not sure what it is at this point.
She's had 1 card in hand for a while. I wonder if she's been holding on to a giant Cobra or something, looking to get in range for quick 2 lore.
Potentially there's another Goliath from Luke there.
And Goliaths are quite risky at this point. Luke obviously thinking he's far enough ahead that it doesn't matter that Abbie's going to get a chance to draw some extra cards at the end of turn, which he may very well be right. He's questing for a large amount right now.
He is. He just shot up to a 14 lore. That's crazy. So now above Abbie on a lore count, but she has, as he said, got those draws. She's got a couple of cards in hand.
Let's see a strength.
He's got quite a lot of cards in hand. So he definitely has. Oh no, he only has
just the 2.
Just 2. Okay. Oh, he was looking at his discard, I believe. I got confused.
Strength going to take care of Lexington there.
Yep, get rid of that because of course she's got the genie on board. Doesn't want that to be taken out. But then the other Lexington is still there on Luke's board. So
yeah, it's looking like maybe 1 too many characters for Abbie to deal with this turn.
Potentially. So getting rid of that Jasmine there. Only 1 damage on the genie.
Still exactly 6 lore on board for Luke and no cards in hand for Abbie. Might be.
This is a tricky situation.
Ooh, there is something I like to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no cards. You send the Diablo in for a challenge. No damage. Draw a card.
Draw a card.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Oh.
There it is.
That one could buy a turn. There's an Elsa, but no ink.
Inked it. Yeah. There it is. And that is it. That was a really tough situation for Abbie to deal with.
Ja.
They both played
War ja nicht anders zu erwarten.
Luke taking the win.